In 1985, Suzuki walked into the Tokyo Motor Show with a motorcycle that had no chain, no fork, and no handlebars. What they showed the world that day still hasn't fully been explained. They called it the Falcorustyco, a name so strange even motorcycle journalists at the time struggled to pronounce it. It came from Latin, referring to the gyrfalcon, the largest falcon species on Earth. Suzuki wanted a name that sounded like nothing else on the market because the machine itself looked like nothing else on the market. More than 1 million visitors walked through that motor show. Nobody had seen a motorcycle built like this one. Instead of a chain or a belt, power moved through a hydraulic pump built directly into the frame, because this bike didn't really have a frame at all in the traditional sense. The engine itself was the structure holding the motorcycle together, with the front and rear swing arms bolted straight onto the engine block. A 500cc square-4 engine, 16 valves, 3 camshafts, doing double duty as both the power plant and the skeleton of the machine. Steering wasn't handled by a handlebar. It was handled by a joystick connected to a hydraulic system similar to power steering in a car, controlling wheels that pivoted from their own hubs instead of a traditional front fork. Suzuki engineers said riding it felt closer to flying a plane than riding a motorcycle. Some who saw it standing on the show floor swore it looked like it had driven straight out of the movie Tron, which had hit theaters just 3 years earlier. The brakes were hidden entirely inside the wheels, electromagnetic, with not a single visible disc anywhere on the bike. Even the suspension was unlike anything else being built in 1985, with each wheel running its own independent hydraulic system. Suzuki told journalists this technology was so advanced, it could reach production almost immediately. Cycle World magazine wrote in January 1986 that you wouldn't have to wait a decade to see something like it on the street. That was 40 years ago. And here's where the story gets strange. Some reports out of Japan claim the engine never actually ran during its public appearances, that the Falcorustyco may never have moved a single inch under its own power on its own. A handful of closed-circuit demonstrations were reportedly done only with technicians present, tightly controlled, never in front of an open crowd. Suzuki has never fully confirmed or denied any of it. No production version ever followed, no direct successor, no factory statement explaining exactly why a motorcycle Suzuki called nearly production ready simply vanished from view within a couple of years. 14 years later, in 1999, Suzuki released a motorcycle named after the same Falcon this concept was named for, the GSX 1300R Hayabusa, Japanese for peregrine falcon. It became the fastest production motorcycle in the world at the time, but mechanically it shared almost nothing with the machine that inspired its name. No hydraulic steering, no hub center wheels, no joystick, just a very fast, very conventional motorcycle with a chain drive and a normal front fork. It's almost as if Suzuki kept the myth and quietly buried the machine. So what actually happened to the Falcorustyco? Did the technology fail behind closed doors? Was it simply too expensive to ever manufacture at scale? Or was it never meant to be a real motorcycle at all, just a rolling piece of theater, designed to plant an idea in people's heads decades before the technology could catch up? 40 years later, no major manufacturer has built anything quite like it since. The actual Falcorustyco reportedly still exists, tucked away in a Suzuki collection, rarely seen, rarely explained. Some machines get remembered for what they became. This one gets remembered for what it never was allowed to be.